Hi everyone. We'll begin the webinar shortly. Welcome and thank you for joining us today in our first webinar series. We understand how valuable your time is and we appreciate your participation. We have muted all participants during the presentation. However, if you have any questions, please use the chat log and we will allow time to answer as many questions as we can at the end of the session. My name is Dylan Price to start off with. I'm the account manager for Conference Tracker in our suite of products. I recognize a lot of you that just joined and that are participating in today's webinar, so I want to thank you all for joining us today. The entire Conference Tracker team has been working continuously on enhancing and improving our software for you, our customers. One of the neat things that we worked on was enhancing our lead retrieval app and making it even more user-friendly than it is already. My co-presenter today is Christina Buck. Christina has participated in over 90 national and international conferences as a speaker, exhibitor, or an attendee. Wow. In addition to her participation, she has over 15 years of meeting planning experience. She'll kick off the webinar by sharing some tips and her experience with the lead retrieval system she's used. I'll now turn it over to Christina, so let's begin.
Thank you, Dylan. In the world of conference and exhibitions, I frequently hear, I just can't take on learning another system or project. I myself have certainly been in that situation. Hand in hand goes the importance of cultivating relationships with your sponsors and exhibitors and providing them with tools to enhance their experience and ROI. For many years, there's been a hesitation about offering lead retrieval systems to these important customers. The risks involved seem to have outweighed the benefits, including the cost to the sponsors and exhibitors. Thankfully, technology has greatly improved and gained the trust of both us, the conference providers, and the exhibitors. So with so many solutions available, how do we begin to narrow and choose a product in this growing market? It is so hard to weed out what is the right lead retrieval fit for your group. And I'm going to provide you with some tips and suggestions. And also Dylan will do a demonstration later showing you what our alternative is that we can provide. First thing is do your homework and research. Then when it's time to talk to the company providing lead retrieval, ask them what kind of support do they provide? What is going to be involved for me and my conference team? And be sure to get a reference from other organizations, including their end users, the exhibitors themselves. What is offered with the product? I think that's a really important question. So what capabilities and functionality does a system offer to your exhibitors? What tools are you going to put in their hands? Do they have to have internet access for using the product? And is there any information that I, as a conference organizer or as my customer, can use for metrics on the sales team? Is there options for profit without gouging my exhibitors? I certainly don't want to add to any more fees that they're already paying. How much will it cost my organization? Because I'm at my budget limit. Is there a minimum amount of orders? And lastly, what type of contract is required? Is it a multi-year? Those are just some of the questions and research that I would recommend you use when you're looking for a system. So having said that, Dylan, can you share with us some solutions or a solution that can easily be incorporated to our audience as exhibitors?
Absolutely, Christina. I'm glad that you brought this up and I'd have the chance to show everyone the interactiveness of our app when exhibitors are using it. Let me go ahead and pull up the credentials. I've already pulled up the credentials for you. I will say that our app is downloadable on either Android or Apple devices. So if you go onto either your Google Play Store on Android or your App Store on Apple, you can download the app and see all of the different features that it has to offer. As long as the exhibitor purchases a license, I pulled up our main page here for our app, our login page. So I'll go ahead and start to type in the password. And as you can see, the app will sync before bringing you to the home screen. Let's go through it and discover what each feature means. So if you see the scan button on the top left-hand side of the screen, this is how an exhibitor captures an attendee's information through a QR code. And I'll show you how this is done a little later in the demonstration. If you see on the top right-hand side part of the screen, you'll see a manual button. Exhibitors can type in contact information for someone that may not have a badge. So on the bottom left-hand side, you'll see leads. This is the amount of leads captured by an exhibitor. Okay, and so lastly, the sync button on the bottom right-hand side is a great feature because the exhibitor can still capture an attendee's information regardless of Wi-Fi connectivity. So if there's no Wi-Fi, the leads are saved in the app, and once it's connected back to Wi-Fi, the leads will then sync and upload into the cloud. Okay, so let's jump into it. So now that I've gone over an overall look at the app, I'd like to touch on a few pain points that Christina and I frequently hear from attendees, and here's what they say. So jumping into it, business cards, more and more we are seeing less exchanges occurring in the exhibit hall. Here's why. Information can be difficult to capture when writing on a business card. Attendees can also forget or not have enough business cards on hand. Lastly, business cards can also slow down the follow-up process. I'd like to show you what that looks like to scan an attendee badge through our exhibitors app. So if I click on the scan button, my camera will pop up. As you can see, Christina has her badge on. So let me pull the camera up to the QR code. And as you can see, the attendee information was pulled up onto the screen. So we'll have Christina's first name, last name, email, phone number, address, and any type of information that the conference organizer will import into the system. So touching up from where we are from the scanning portion of it, let's go into qualifying the leads and moving on into what the qualifying leads look like and how the exhibitors will apply that to when they're using our lead retrieval system. So there's a new way to qualify leads, and what I mean by that is going back to those pain points. Another frequent issue we hear is asking attendees to fill out lengthy questionnaires when they visit a booth. This can prohibit opportunities for quality face-to-face interactions. Instead, why not create custom qualifying questions electronically to gather important information? That way the attendee during the scanning process can be asked questions efficiently and effectively. By qualifying these leads, you can target an ideal prospect, gather more detailed data, and eliminate wasteful paper. So if we go back to the attendee homepage, and I'll show you what the custom qualifying questions look like. So if we click next, we'll see that all the custom qualifying questions that the exhibitor created are on the screen now. So the first question is, what product? We'll select Conference Tracker, and if the exhibitor wanted to select more, they'd have the option to do so. So we'll click next, and then we'll figure out if they were the decision maker. So if Christina's the decision maker, we'll say yes, and click next, and we'll ask what's the time frame like and what your budget is in getting that together, and we'll type in 6 months. After typing it in, we'll press save, and once we press save, we'll see now that the lead was saved, and into the bottom left hand side of the screen it was saved under leads, and now we have, instead of having 63, we have 64. So if we click on it, we can look into the attendees information and see all the information we just captured on them and the notes we took on them. So if we go back and hit on a great point that I think that a lot of our exhibitors feel is an essential and a crucial piece to their success after a conference is over, is the follow-up. So if we went to back to our presentation here, the follow-up process, once the show is over, is a critical component for exhibitors. These follow-up elements include responding personally to the attendee while the conversation is fresh in their mind, inputting data into the exhibitor's CRM, and lastly, getting the leads into the right hands of the sales and marketing team. So if I wanted to brush up on that really quickly, we have 2 ways to access leads in real time. So to access leads in real time, the first way is to have your exhibitors log in to an online portal and download the leads captured. So once they log into the portal, under advanced options, they'll see a portion called export data. They'll click on export data, and they'll be taken to another page. It'll ask them, what do you want to download? You can have the option of either downloading it at a CSV, an HTML, or an Excel format. The other option, if the exhibitor wanted to do it through the app, they could go into the app, and if you go to the top right-hand portion of the screen, you'll see the drop-down menu button. And in the drop-down menu button, you'll see a feature called Email Leads. This feature immediately sends the leads directly to the exhibitor's inbox. So let me go ahead and press Email Leads. As you can see, the leads were sent successfully to my inbox. So going back to it, I wanted to make sure I covered all three of those points that we usually get from our exhibitors, our customers, our clients that have questions on our lead retrieval app. And I'll actually hand it over to Christina now so she can explain how we can help in providing a solution for your exhibitors now.
Thanks, Dylan. Earlier, I touched on meeting professionals' heavy workloads, and I stressed the importance of keeping your exhibitors happy. Providing your exhibitors with direct access to your attendees through a technology as easy as the one Dylan just demonstrated is a very simple solution. But let's look at the other side of the equation, and that is, how can we meeting organizers accomplish all of this when there's not enough hours in the day as it is? And I'll tell you what, the answer is simple. We will provide you with a user-friendly product and customer service throughout the conference and show cycle. And we can do this in several and many different ways. We will produce co-branded marketing materials that you can send directly to your exhibitors. We'll provide you with customized timelines so that you can continue to multitask and be as efficient as possible. We'll also provide simple instructional tools directly to your exhibitors upon purchasing the app. And also, we're going to give you direct access to us for lead retrieval support for both the customers and yourself.
So what that all means to you, we want to provide you, your sponsors, and exhibitors with a solution that will make their lives a lot easier and keep them returning year after year. We don't require an annual contract. There's no risk or cost to you, the organizer. You can generate income for your organization, and there's no minimum requirement for orders. Our app actually works on both Apple and Android, as I explained earlier. And the great thing about it is you have a bonus and where you're using our badge generation system for a quick and easy process. And that's something we'll cover, excuse me, that we'll cover in our next webinar series.
Brian May. I'm with Dog HR. I'm the Vice President of Business Development. So we've been using the Lead Retrieval System app from Conference Tracker. It's made it really easy for us to collect the attendees' information and track notes about our conversations with those attendees. The app is really easy to use. What's great about it is that at these conferences, many people don't carry business cards any longer. So having just the easy capture ability that the app offers gets all the information and data from the conference attendee. It also allows us to track some notes that correspond to our conversation that we had. It's made it really simple for us, and we've enjoyed using it.
So I think we have a few minutes for some questions. So we'll open up the floor and leave it up to people to ask a few questions on the chat line.
Okay, great. Dylan, I see a couple questions here that I'd like to start off with. First question is, how long will it take for me to implement and offer your lead retrieval system for our exhibitors?
That's a wonderful question. We can begin immediately. Ideally, we recommend 90 days in advance for marketing and to give your exhibitors enough time just to purchase at the lowest price possible.
Okay. I'm seeing another chat coming through, and the question is, what is the cost for the exhibitors?
Another great question. So we offer several pricing options for you to offer to your exhibitors. I'd be happy to send over the pricing options after we conclude this webinar.
Okay. I see, looks like a couple more questions here. Is your lead retrieval offered only through an app?
Yes. So once an exhibitor purchases, they'll receive credentials to download it and then access the app. There's no hardware to rent, and the app can be used inside or outside of the exhibit hall.
Great. Okay. And I see, looks like one last question here.
Oh, and this one's a good one too. I can see it, yeah.
Okay, so how many custom qualifying questions can an exhibitor create?
Another great question. The number of questions is unlimited. You can put as many questions as you like in our system to ask the attendees.
Is there any other questions that are out there? I think that looks like it's it for the chat questions.
Okay. So moving on, we thank you for your participation. This webinar has been recorded and we'll provide you with a link to access it. We'll be continuing our webinar Wednesdays once a month. Make sure to register early to secure your spot for December 7th. If you'd like to learn more about how to get started using our lead retrieval system, please feel free to contact me at sales@engineerica.com or call us at 888-249-7227. Thanks and have a great day, everybody.